So what is VLAN and why do we require VLAN? First of all, we need to understand this thing. Okay. So any idea what is VLAN? That is the full form. But what actually is VLAN and why do we need a VLAN? Used to secure data transfer. How?
If I have to send to data from a particular PC, and it will go to that PC only.
So usually also unicast one-to-one communication, same thing.
What will reduce the cost?
Cost of? Cost of cables. Why? As many hosts you need, that many cables you will need. Yeah, virtual, but still to connect the PCs you will need, right? Then yes.
So make these are efficient as compared to LAN.
These are
efficient. It is a provide efficient result.
Logically grouping the LAN.
Logically grouping the LAN. Okay. Online people? Any idea? No? Okay. Let's say I run a company. Okay. And in my company, I have two departments. For example, I had two departments. One is the sales department and one is the, let's say, manufacturing department. These are the two departments. Okay. Now, between these two departments, like I have the systems like, let's say, for example, my manufacturing system has 5 systems and my sales department has, again, 5 systems. Okay. Total, how many hosts I need?
10.
10. I have 10 hosts. Correct. So if I want to have communication with the internet, I will need a layer 3 device. Let's say with the internet, if I want communication, I will need layer 3 device. But if I want that those two departments, they should not communicate with each other. If I want that my two departments, they should not communicate with each other, what I'll do? In both the departments, I can use what different switches. Correct? How many switches I'll need to buy? 2 switches. And I don't have a big company, don't have a big budget to buy 2 switches. So what I can do? I can use 1 switch. And also if you see, let's say these are 24 port switch, 24 port switch. I'll be using 5. Remaining ports are what? Wastage. So to reduce the cost, first of all, okay? If you're saying to reduce the cost, what you can do? You can have a switch and you can connect the PCs. Correct? Let's say these are the PCs. Correct? And I'll connect the PCs to the switch. This is switch. Here I have PC1, PC2, PC3, and PC4. Correct? So I'll assign the IPs in them. So let's say I'll assign 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4. Correct? Now what? They'll be able to communicate. They will be able to communicate. But what is my requirement? They should not communicate. And if I want that they should not communicate, what I'm going to do?
VLANs.
And what if I don't want to create the VLAN? Still, I want they should not communicate.
That's ACL.
ACLs in switch.
No, so, nothing.
Nothing.
VLAN.
VLAN. Without VLAN.
Not possible.
Not possible. Sure.
So,
Yeah, another switch.
Hmm? Without another switch. What next?
Different.
Port security, no. Hmm?
For different networks.
Correct. What you can do here? Just change the network. If I'll change the network here, let's say 20.1, yes. 20.2. Network changed. Now will they communicate or not? No, they will not communicate. Why? Because for communication between two different networks, we need a layer 3 device. And switch is a layer 2 device. So they will not communicate. Now we can connect the departments like this, no problem. Okay, you can have the departments like this. But there is a security issue. What is the security issue? What if someday this person changes IP to 10.3? Possible? What if this guy changes IP to 10.3? They will be able to communicate this side. Second thing, what if these guys, he changes to 20.3? Again, what will happen? They will communicate. Correct. So one issue is the security. If you are using a single switch, then one issue is what? Security. Okay. Second issue, if a switch creates a broadcast message. Okay. Let's say this PC creates a broadcast message. Right? Broadcast message will go to the switch. How your switch deals with the broadcast?
It will send to all other ports.
Correct. It is going to send to everyone, here also, as well as here also. So still, you see the broadcast messages are going. Why the broadcast messages are going everywhere? Why they are coming to everyone?
First time switch it will send to everyone.
Okay, let's say second time generated broadcast. Now what?
But now this time it will add the entries, back entries into the.
But the message itself is a broadcast. Obviously, it will send to everyone. Why? Because switch is a single broadcast domain. All ports of switch belongs to the same broadcast domain. And in a broadcast domain, if there is a broadcast message, it will definitely go to everyone. Correct? So to segregate the broadcast domain or to convert your switch from single broadcast domain to multiple broadcast domain or to break down the broadcast domain of your switch, you create VLANs. Okay? Clear? Why we need VLANs? Okay, now come here. VLAN is a custom network which is created from one or more local area networks. It enables a group of devices available in multiple networks to be combined into one logical network. Okay, you can say you can combine multiple ports into a single VLAN and you can form a single VLAN. Now, those hosts can be in the same network, can be in the different network. This is not mandatory that in one VLAN you will have only one network. No, you can have multiple networks in a VLAN. Okay. It enables a group of devices available in multiple networks to be combined with one logical network. Okay. So a group of devices in multiple networks to be combined in one logical network means, see, what is a LAN? Number of PCs connected in a small area, number of hosts or nodes connected in a small area. That is a physical LAN. Now, when you are using a single switch, that is one LAN, you can say. But when you're logically dividing your switch into two different switches, that will become logical or virtual LAN. Okay. The result becomes a virtual LAN that is administered like a physical LAN. Means your switch will start behaving like two separate switches. Okay. The full form of VLAN is virtual local area network. Now what will happen? If you have not created the VLAN, in this case, if you have not created the VLAN, in that case, what will happen? Whatever broadcast message is there, correct? That message will travel to everyone. Correct? But if you have created the VLANs, okay. If you have created the VLANs, let's say this side it is one VLAN, okay, and this side it is another VLAN. Okay, consider these are two different VLANs. You can say this is, let's say, for example, sales VLAN, and this is, let's say, HR VLAN. Okay, so if there is a scenario like this, and now if there is a broadcast message on this side, it will just come into the PC2, will not move to the other VLAN. Why? Because that is a different broadcast domain. Is that clear? Right? Okay. Now in a switch, okay, in a switch, total 4096 VLANs you can create. How many? This is the maximum. Total 4096 VLANs you can create. Okay. The range is from 0 till 4095. Okay. Your VLAN number 0 and 4095. Okay. These are reserved for VMware. Okay. VLAN number 1, known as default VLAN. Why? Because all ports of a switch are by default member of VLAN 1. So it is known as default VLAN. Then VLAN number 2 till 1001. This is the standard range of VLAN. VLAN number 1002 to 1005. These are known as legacy VLANs, means not used. Okay. And these are reserved for FDDI and token in topologies, means not used. Then VLAN number 1006 to 4094. These are extended range of VLAN. Okay. And this extended range works when switch is running available if switch is running VTP version 3. There is a protocol VTP, and if your switch is running VTP version 3, then this range will be available. Otherwise, only standard range will be available if your switch is running VTP version 1 or 2. Okay. These are not visible in switch. Okay. These are visible by default. Okay. And can be used. But you cannot delete these VLANs. Okay. But cannot delete. or say cannot be deleted. This VLANs you can create, modify, and delete. Okay, you can create, modify, and delete these VLANs. These VLANs cannot be used and cannot be deleted. Okay, and again you can create, modify, and delete the extended range also. Okay, this is about the VLAN range. Okay, so these VLANs 40 and 4095 you will not see in the switches. Okay, VLAN number 1 by default it will be visible, and similarly your VLAN number 1002 to 1005 these will be by default visible. Okay, these are also visible by default. Okay, so when you will open switch and check for VLANs, only VLAN 1 and 1002 to 1005, these 5 VLANs will be available. Okay, then 0 and 4095 we cannot see, and 2 to 1001 and 1006 to 4094, these VLANs if you want to use, you have to create these VLANs. Okay, then only they will be visible, and if you want, you can delete these VLANs also. Okay, you cannot delete the default and legacy VLANs. Is that clear?
You can modify all ports of the switch are present in the default VLAN 1.
This is by default.
By default.
Obviously, you can change. Okay, this is clear. Okay. So, what is a VLAN? VLAN in networking is a virtual extension of LAN. What is a LAN? LAN is a group of computer and peripheral devices which are connected in a limited area such as school, laboratory, home, office building, etc. Okay. It is widely used network for sharing resources like files, printers, games, and other applications. Then this is small introduction to the same thing, that VLAN 0 and 4095, these are the reserved. Then VLAN 1, default VLAN. Okay, you cannot delete or edit this VLAN, but you can use it. VLAN 2 to 1001, you can use, it is a normal range or standard range. Then VLAN 1002 to 1005, these are used for tokening and FDDI. You cannot delete. And 1006 to 4094, extended range. Okay. Now, what is the application or purpose of LAN? So when you have more devices on your LAN, you can segregate them using VLANs. And it is helpful when you have a lot of traffic. Okay, if you have a lot of traffic going on, then what you can do, you can segregate them from VLAN and not much traffic will be remaining in one particular department. Then it is ideal when group of users need more security or being slowed down by many broadcasts. Because by default, one broadcast domain, anyone creating a broadcast will go to everyone. So you can segregate the broadcast domains and it will also provide you the security. And when you want that users should not be on the same broadcast domain, or if you want to make a switch into behave like a multiple switches, then you can use the VLANs. What are the advantages of VLAN? First of all, reduce the size of broadcast domain. By default, if your switch is a 24 port switch, all 24 ports will belong to the same broadcast domain. But if you create 2 VLANs and assign 12 ports to each VLAN, now your broadcast domain size is 12 ports only, not 24 ports. Okay. So like this, you can reduce the size of broadcast domain. Then VLAN allows you to add an additional layer of security. Because again, one network cannot communicate with another network. One department cannot communicate with another department. It can make device management simpler and easier. Then higher performance and reduced latency. If your switch will have less broadcast traffic, obviously there will be higher performance and reduced latency. VLAN provide increased performance, same thing. VLAN remove physical boundary. If you want to have 2 departments, you do not need to require 2 switches. You can use 1 switch. So this will remove your physical boundaries also, that you have to go and use 2 switches only. Easily segment your network, help you enhance network security, keep hosts separated by VLAN, and you do not require additional hardware and cabling, which helps you save cost. Because one extra switch you do not have to purchase. Okay. Then what is a switch port? Switch port. This is the switch. What you see where you connect the cable, that is the switch port. Okay. So on a network switch, the switch port is the physical opening where a data cable can be plugged in. Generally, switch ports are rectangular on 3 sides with a V-shaped point either on top or bottom. Okay, so if I show you the switch. Let's say this is the switch. So these are the switch ports. So you see they are rectangular on 3 sides and this is what we call as V-shape. Okay. So these are the switch ports. Now these ports, they can behave in 2 ways. Okay. They can behave in 2 ways. One is as an access port and second is as a trunk port. So what is the difference between access port and trunk port? Access port is a member of single VLAN. Okay. Your access ports, these are member of single VLAN only. And when I say member of single VLAN only, that means they can forward traffic for a single VLAN. So by default, all the ports of your switch are behaving as access port. Okay. By default, all ports of a switch are access ports. This is clear. Now, what will happen when you want communication between multiple VLANs or when a port has to send data of multiple VLANs? Okay. Because see, let's say, for example, you have a switch and with this you have connected a PC. So obviously one PC will remain in one VLAN only, no problem. Okay. But first thing, if it is a server, you might require more than one VLAN. Okay. Or if you want to connect another switch, let's say this side you have VLAN 10, here you have VLAN 20, VLAN 30. Similarly, this side also 10, 20, and 30. Correct? Now, these ports by default, they are access port. Access port means they will forward data of one VLAN only. And by default, they are member of VLAN 1, the default VLAN. Correct. But now these systems wants to communicate with these systems. Okay, so how they will communicate? How they will communicate? Because through this port, we want what? Multiple VLAN traffic to pass. So by default, it is access port and access port will allow only traffic for single VLAN. So they will not be able to communicate. So what to do? Then we will need a different type of port, that is a trunk port. A trunk port, okay. If we discuss about a trunk port, by default, member of all the VLANs. This is by default member of all the VLANs and means member of all the VLANs mean can forward traffic of all VLANs by default. Okay. This is clear. Now, by default, all the ports of a switch are access ports. Okay. And if you want to create a port as a trunk port, you can just go to the interface, let's say F0/1. Okay. And you can give the command switch port mode trunk. Okay. Or if you want to create a port as an access port, then just you can go to the interface F0/1. Okay. And you can give the command switch port mode access. Switch port mode access. This is clear. Correct. Same command. Switch port mode access, switch port mode trunk. Access port, member of single VLAN, trunk port, member of all the VLANs by default. Okay. Access port will forward traffic for a single VLAN, and by default, your trunk port will forward traffic of all the VLANs. Okay. This is clear? Okay. So an access port connects a network host to a single VLAN and manages data traffic for that particular virtual network. Okay, because data can go back and forth on the designated VLAN, an access port handles untagged Ethernet frame. What is untagged and tagged frame? We'll come to that when we discuss trunking. A trunk port usually connect to another switch, and see, not just another, this is saying usually, okay, but this is not always the case. Sometimes when you connect to the router also you will require, sometimes when you connect to the server, you will also require trunk port. Okay. And it is able to interact with several VLANs. On a complex network with multiple VLANs, a trunk port manages data traffic to and from those virtual networks. So by default, what all the VLANs we have? For all the VLANs, your trunk port can forward the traffic. To do so, a trunk port recognizes frame that takes that specify the intended destination for the data. Again, this tagging will come when discuss about trunking. Okay. All right. So this theory part is clear. What is VLAN? Why do we require VLAN? What are the benefits of VLAN and access port and trunk port? These things are clear. Okay. Now, first of all, we'll see that how you can create VLANs, how you can delete VLANs. Okay, this part we'll see. So this is a switch. Go to the CLI. All the modes and everything that is same as router only. Which mode? User execution mode, enable command, privilege mode, configuration terminal, global configuration mode. So everything is going to remain same, the commands and everything. Okay. Now let's say you want to check what all the VLANs are present by default. So you can say show VLAN brief. Okay. So you see by default what is present? The default VLAN 1002, 3, 4, and 5. Only 5 VLANs will be available by default. And you see all the ports, they are by default member of VLAN 1. That is your default VLAN. This is clear? Okay. Now let's try to create VLANs. Creating VLAN is really easy. Okay. All you have to do VLAN and give the VLAN number. Which VLAN you want to create? Let's say VLAN 10. VLAN 10 is created. Then if you want to give the name also, like these VLANs have some name. So simply command is name and whatever name you want to give, let's say sales. These are the two commands. No other command to create VLAN. Okay, and even name is not mandatory also. You can just give VLAN 10 and VLAN 10 will get created. Let's say I will say VLAN 20 without any name. Okay, so this also created. Okay. Show VLAN 3. See, VLAN 10 with the name sales and VLAN 10 with the name VLAN 20. Sorry, VLAN 20 with the name VLAN 20. Is that clear? Correct. Now, when you want to delete the VLANs, again, this thing is easy. All you do, same thing. No VLAN 10. No VLAN 20. Check. Do show VLAN brief. 1. Only 2 word comments. VLAN 10, no VLAN 10. Name, whatever name you want to. This is clear? Okay. Now let's say I'll create a VLAN. VLAN 10. Okay. And name, let's say I will give it sales. Okay. You see by default, all the ports, they are member of which VLAN? VLAN 1, default VLAN. If you want to add, let's say port number F0/1 in the VLAN 10. So what you have to do? Interface F0/1. Go to the interface. Okay. Then after, give the command switch port access VLAN 10. Switch port access VLAN 10. Check. Do show VLAN brief. Now your F0/1 is in. Okay. Let's say you want to add multiple ports F0/2, 3, 4, 5. So we will not give this command again and again. What we can do, we can use the range option. I can say interface range. Okay, from where I want to start, f0 by 2. And where I want to end, f0 by 5. But you don't have to write entire f0 by 5. Neither you have to write 0 by 5. All you have to do, just 5. Because this part is already constant, you are telling the range 0, 2 to 5. Okay. You selected all the interface, switch port, access, VLAN 10. Check to show VLAN view. Add it. Okay. What if they are not regular? Like these are 2, 3, 4, 5. These are regular. What if the interfaces are not regular? So what you can do? You can say like interface range. Then you can say like, let's say f0 by 7, comma, f0 by 10, comma, f0 by 15, comma, f0 by 19, anything. Okay. Comma, f0 by, let's say 20. Okay. And then switch port access VLAN 10. Check. Do show VLAN. What all the ports you added? So like this also you can do. Okay. And deleting the VLAN. No VLAN. 10. Do show VLAN. Back to. Okay. They are still the member. Okay. So we have to keep. VLAN 10. Do show VLAN B. Okay. Now, either what you have to do, you have to go and clear all the configurations you have done. Like, let's say I gave this command, right? Interface range. Okay. So either you give the same command or you can just go and reload the switch also. Let's say I will give the command. No switch port access VLAN 10. Okay. Then interface range f0 by 1 till 5. Now, first of all, check how many interfaces left. Do show VLAN brief. Interface 1 to 5 left. So say interface range f0 by 1 till 5. No switch port access VLAN. Check. Done. Then you can say no VLAN 10. Do show VLAN brief. Clear? Any doubts? No?
If you want to remove a particular port from VLAN 10,
then only a single port interface name, and then no switch port access VLAN 10. Okay. This is clear? Okay. Now, let's say I'll go to the interface f0 by 1. Do I have VLAN 10? Okay. Interface f0 by 1. Do I have VLAN 10? No, right? Okay. Let me try. Switch port access VLAN 10. If I give this command, what will happen? You see, I do not have the VLAN, right? So what your switch is going to do? No, there will be no error. Your switch will create the VLAN itself and then add the port in the VLAN. Yes. Yes. See, access VLAN does not exist. Creating VLAN 10. Okay. Check. Do show VLAN. Also VLAN created. Also the port was added to the VLAN. So this is another way of creating the VLANs directly. Okay. This is clear? Okay. Do show VLAN remove. Okay. Any doubt how to create the VLANs, how to delete the VLANs, how to assign the membership of VLAN? No. Correct? Okay. So by default, I said your ports will be acting as an access port. C. Do show interface F0 by 1 switch port. Port name is F0 by 1. Enabled or disabled? Enabled. Okay. Then operational mode, it is showing down because nothing is connected here. Let me connect these. Okay. Because by default, it will remain in down state otherwise. Now I have connected. Now see. What is the operational mode? Static access. So this is behaving by default as a access port. Okay. And what is the by default VLAN? See, 1. Okay. All right. Now see. So this part is clear, how to create the VLANs, how to delete the VLANs, how to modify the VLANs, like if you want to change the name. Okay. All you have to do, go to the VLAN and give the command name, and you can change the name. Okay. So commands are just simple. All you have to do, you have to say VLAN and then VLAN name. Sorry, not name, number. Then you have to give the command name. And if you want to give, here you can give the VLAN name. This is it. If you want to assign the membership, say interface name, then switch port, access VLAN, and here VLAN number. Okay. This is clear. This is how we are going to removing no VLAN 10, no VLAN. If you want to remove the name, no name. Okay, like that. Okay. If you want to make a port as access port, so you can give the command switch port mode access. Okay. I'm not here. Let me give it differently. For access port, you can give the command interface name. Then you can give the command switch port mode access. Okay. Then for trunk port, you can just go and give the same command. All you have to do, switch port mode on. Okay.
We will also do this command, sir. When we connect a PC to switch. When we connect PC to switch, we will give a switch port access VLAN, that number, and also switch port mode access.
By default access. By default access. Okay. But again, in the port security will not in the port security, in the DTP will come to know that, okay, we will give this command switch port mode access also. Why? Because otherwise, if there is an employee who wants to connect their own switch, what they can do? They can remove the plug from the PC and they can connect it to their switch. Now, by default, DTP is running, so the trunking will form. Okay, to prevent that things, that is another concept. Okay, to prevent dynamic trunking, we avoid using that and we go with the switch port mode access. Okay, and in the port security, it is mandatory.